Okay, alright. Underwater 2020, directed by William Eubank.
Well, spoilers.
It takes 5 minutes until the first actor shows up on screen. 5 minutes, because that's how long it takes for the exposition screens to give you the backstory. There's a rig in the Mariana Trench, and there's people working down there. That's it. They need 5 minutes for that. And mind you, this movie is already 90 minutes short. The first actual footage we get to see is Kirsten Stewart staring into mirrors and saving a spider. She's a software engineer and she's half naked. I don't know why you would need software engineers on a rig that's 11 kilometers below the sea surface, and I'm thinking that they would wear some thick clothing because it's pretty cold down there. But we don't get to think about that, because what follows is an explosion. An eruption of unknown origin damages the rig. There's some heavy running, jumping, shouting and surviving going on until the final team of characters is assembled, about 20 minutes in. Which brings us to our first problem. You see, all that light-hearted stuff from the trailer... Nope, not in the movie. They cut all of that out. The first time we meet the characters is when they are buried beneath the rubble. When you start your plot after the catastrophe, you only get to see the characters in panic mode. You don't know who they are, you only know that they want to survive. Most of them only have a first name, some have no name at all. They never talk about personal stuff because they're way too busy talking about all the problems and technical issues arising. Spoiler, we won't get to learn anything about anyone, which makes it rather hard to care about any of them. At least TJ Miller's in the movie, so that makes for one character you're familiar with, because Miller always plays himself. He's kinda like the female Rebel Wilson at this point. He couldn't act if you paid him to, he's vulgar and obnoxious, and he's in every other movie. Although he's not as loudmouthed as usual, and that might be because his character has to pull himself together in order not to die. However, starting your movie in ruins is convenient from a production standpoint. You don't need any sets, and the outside of the rig is pretty much all CGI. The rest of the movie is people running from one scenario to the next. It's like, technical issue, solve it, run to the next level. Technical issue, solve it, run to the next level. They race from corridor to hatch to container, into the deep water, and back to some corridor. On end. That's the plot, and the characters are just there to further it with their scared faces. It's the old issue with characters who know things that they're not supposed to know, or who don't act upon things that they do know. And halfway through, the Asian character says, and I quote,
We shouldn't be down here.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't, because I don't see why they would need any personnel to handle a drill that operates in such a depth. There's also no sense of geography. How big is that rig? Why is the drill itself so far away from the compound? And what do you need that compound for anywho, other than giving Kristen a place to stare into mirrors? The music is stale, dark, unoriginal, and usually doesn't even fit the scene. It only comprises of bass lines and snares, which makes me wonder what this composer's day job is. Also not very convincing are the suits they wear on the water. They don't look strong enough to withstand that kind of pressure. And if they were, they probably couldn't walk around in them because they'd be too heavy. There's this hilarious scene where the two female characters are walking on the ocean floor in these suits. It's one of the rare occasions where they would have time for some dialogue that isn't related to technical issues. And what do? Surrounded by sea monsters, they talk about former boyfriends. Overall, not a total catastrophe, but from the 80 million that this movie cost, we only get to see about 40 million, and we don't get to see much else. We go from The Abyss, to Alien 1, to Alien 4, to Godzilla, to credits. There's no twist, no reveal, and no explanations. At the very end, Kristen dies a hero. So if you're into that kind of thing, this one might just be for you. But hey, it could be worse.